Hey, good morning. It's Balance with Brenda. You know, I'm a solid Gen Xer, so subscribe, like. Eventually, I'll learn some high-tech way of making videos. But I wanted to talk a little bit today about caregiving. And this is a humongous topic, but there's some basic things you need to know as far as caregiver duties. Now, whether this is you as a family member stepping in a role as a caregiver or a hired situation, these could be multiple things because ultimately it's very hard to be the caregiver and fill the role as the family member at the same time. Very challenging. So this is this is something to consider. Short-term things are easy to maintain, but when you're in an endurance event, you need to have resources, you need to have respite, you need to have ways as a caregiver to self-care and recharge. Almost like people are used to when you're caring for infants or newborns, you know, you're not expected to be the 24/7, 7-day-a-week caregiver for that situation. You know that is not healthy. And so it's the same sort of thing as having respite. There are some crazy statistics. The Population Reference Bureau says that 55% of US women 85 or older live alone. And that's from a 2018 statistics. So the demand for caregivers is going to be greater, whether that's you as a child or you as a business owner. One of the biggest needs as a caregiver is to take care of the person's basic needs and personal care. So in the healthcare realm, we call that activities of daily living. That's like toileting, bathing, you know, brushing your teeth, eating, basic things like that. Another component is just obviously housekeeping, keeping things clean, orderly. Overall, that does reduce stress level if you're in a clean, uncluttered environment. Just helps your mindset a lot more. And sometimes when you start bringing in equipment, other people, medication, the clutter just sort of, it goes out of control. Caregiving is also kind of, okay, let's do some blood pressure checks. Let's check on you, like a monitoring situation, you know, what's going on with their physical body and their needs. Mobility is big because that changes a lot throughout the course of the day or with their fatigue level. So some people may be great in the morning and then by lunchtime, that's it. They're out of gas and they function at a completely different level. Sometimes when you're dealing with sundowning or dementia, you know, later in the day may not be a time to try and get them to cooperate or do something. So you have to know the person you're working with to handle that. Food prep is really interesting because depending on mobility and strength, the person may not be interested in chopping and meal prep because literally that is going to expend too much energy that they have. And so it's easier to pop something in the microwave. And so from a nutritional standpoint, that's just something to be on the lookout for. Transportation is interesting. And the other day I got behind a taxi service and it was an adaptable, you know, Braun Ability minivan. And I thought that's lovely because if someone is at wheelchair level or really struggling with mobility, getting them in and out of a vehicle, especially like if it's a high pickup truck, is going to be really challenging. So again, if you have to make all these trips and appointments, it may be easier to be able to be in them in the wheelchair level and just conserve your energy that way. Keeping up with finances and the bills. So this may be something that the family level caregiver is more comfortable doing, but it is still just something really big to stay on top of because you may have insurance, EOBs, This is not a bill, it is a statement. Lots of stuff just to follow up on. That also requires energy. So when you're not on your A game physically, it's really hard to stay on top of all these things, yet it's very important. And then just obviously like companionship, the spirit part of life, that, you know, going to church or being in fellowship or having friends around, and not just making it all seem like it's about illness and caregiving and sterile kind of, you know, we're human and we need to connect. So there's a lot, it's multifaceted, but I do feel like that if you're going into this, if you can maybe think of, you know, who can we delegate some of these things to, or how can we have a plan? You know, if you're a child of someone or you're a spouse of someone, you know, identify what you're good at and then reach out to other resources. I know if you have someone on hospice care, hospice has a ton of great resources. But if you're not at that level, reach out. It's amazing what communities have. And then also, I think depending on the caregiver's personality, if your personality under stress is to shut down, then it's going to be a lot harder to invoke your circle and ask for help. So you may just need to be aware of that and look and say, every Thursday, I'm going to go get my hair done or get my nails done or sit outside or go to the grocery store by myself, and find ways that feed your soul and rejuvenate you, because it's a special time with a family member, but it can also be very stressful. And I hope that's helpful, because I always focus on the mobility stuff, but my gosh, there's so much more to it. And I hope that helps, and I hope you have a great day. Comment below if you have questions.